Hi there, Jeep owners. Today in your 2019 Jeep Grand Cherokee, we're going to be taking a look at CURT's 2-bike platform rack. And this rack you can see here is going to be a 2-bike platform style rack, which means your wheels will be supported in the cradles for both the driver and passenger side for your front and back wheel. And then it's secured in place on top with our hook here. And this is a pretty quick and easy way to get your bike strapped up. Some of the other models, they have other straps, or your hanging styles are not really the best type. Here with the platform, it keeps your bike really solid in the rack. The rack's in the hitch with an anti-rattle bolt to keep it solid, versus like your hanging style where your bike's hanging by the frame here. They have potentially some pivot that they can get to them, and your bikes could potentially contact one another. Whereas with this style, our bike is nice and secure. It keeps our wheel from turning. Again, unlike the hanging style where your wheel could just kind of move around if you don't strap it in place, this is going to keep everything stable. And we can put 2 bikes on here. When you're just hauling one bike, it's recommended to put it in the one closer to the vehicle there. And then you've got this one available for a second bike. If we take a look here at the legs, you can see they are adjustable. So you can adjust the width by just unscrewing the knob here. We'll go ahead and do the one that doesn't have a bike. And you can see there that you can adjust that. And each one of these arms is adjustable. So that way, if you have different size bikes, maybe you have a small child or something like that that would use a little bit smaller bike, or just the difference between your bike and your friend's bike could be potentially pretty big. So you got that adjustability there to accommodate for it. Now, while your bikes are on here, there is a tilt feature in place, so that way you can access the rear of your vehicle, because as it is right now, if I tried to open the lift gate, it would contact our bike. There's 2 pins located here at the center that we'll remove to be able to lower it down. We're going to remove the lower one first. It's a smaller pin. And we'll take the larger one here. We're going to get the clip off of it. But before we take the pin out, we want to make sure that we grab our bike here. You're probably going to have to push towards the vehicle just a little bit to get pressure off the pin. The pins are tethered, so you can just let them drop. And there you can see it's now tilted away. And with it tilted away, we should have access to the rear of our vehicle here. We can see it fully opens. This is really nice if you're maybe just stopping real quick and you need to get something, maybe load up at the grocery store before a ride, grab yourself some waters and things like that, take care of your cooler. You can do all those things and then get back out there on the road. And once you've taken care of everything in the back, we can go ahead and lift this back up. I'm going to put the small pin in first, just because that one doesn't have to line up with any hole. It just kind of supports this underneath. And what that will do is it gives you a pretty good support to hold it roughly where the big pin's going to line up. You might have to push on it just a little bit there to wiggle it around to get the big pin to slide in. And then that'll clip back into place, and we're ready to hit the road once again. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the bike now so we can take a look at some of the other features of the rack. I do have one thing I want to mention. I did notice though, when I put this on here, when I was backing up, the rear collision detection was detecting the bike rack the entire time. So just keep that in mind. It is going to obstruct your rear collision, and it actually even activated the brakes once on me when I was backing up. So it will detect this as part of its proximity sensors and things like that here across the back. So we'll go ahead and get the bike out of the way now. To do that, we're going to lift up on our arms here. We'll do the outer one first and then the inner. And then we can just lift up on our bike and set this aside. Can take a look at some of the additional features. So it does have 2 different storage positions that you could place it in depending on how you're wanting to store it. We'll show you the garage storage position first. So this is useful if you're getting ready to take your bike rack off before you throw it in the garage. We can pull the pins here on the side for each side arm. There's one on each side. Just go ahead and pull those pins out of there. You might have to lift up just gently on the arm to get the pin out. Once you've got that removed, we can then lift up on the arm. It'll now line up with this hole, and we can reinsert our pin. Do the same thing with the other side and insert it over here. And this is kind of the storage position you would want if you're going to store it in your garage. Keeps everything nice and compact. You could probably slide this in a nice little corner where it's out of the way, or hang it up, and it should just reduce the overall size of it. So now we'll go ahead and put it in our other storage position so you can see what that looks like. We're gonna take it back out, drop your arm down, and line those holes back up, reinsert your pins. And once we've got that reinstalled, there's one pin towards the center here for our center mast. It's right here. Now before you pull this pin out of here, make sure you got a good grip on this, because it can rotate either direction, and if it rotates towards the vehicle, it will probably contact the vehicle. So keep a hold on that, pull it towards the rear, and there's another hole here towards the back that we can reinsert our pin in and clip it in place. We can then go back to the larger tilt pin that we had pulled out before. This has another setting. We can leave the smaller lower one in there, but we want to remove just the upper one. Then we can take the whole rack and lift it up and place it in its other storage position. And this is the vehicle mounted storage position. If you want to leave it on your vehicle all the time, you don't want to take it off and store it in your garage, but you want your vehicle to still fit in the garage, you can reduce the distance by putting it in this configuration here. And with our rack in this storage position, the distance from our vehicle reduces from 32 inches from the furthest point to here at about 17, 18 inches, right in between there. So you can see it's considerably shorter while in this position. That does make it a little bit closer, so our closest point to our rack is now here at about 10 inches. And our ground clearance in this position is going to remain the same at about 18 inches to this point here. And if we take a closer look here at the shank where it's inserted into our hitch here, you can see it is a 1 1/4 inch in size, but does come with a conversion collar that will increase it up to 2 inch, and that's how we've got it inserted into our 2-inch hitch here. So it will work with both your 1 1/4 or your 2 inch, and it comes with an included anti-rattle bolt that'll take out any play, as you get a clip as well to secure it in place. And that completes our look of CURT's 2-bike platform rack on our 2019 Jeep Grand Cherokee.